Hello everyone, welcome back to the DraftCast. What a weekend we have had with the final of the El Presidente Cup. Will is here for the debrief. How are you, Will?
Very good, thank you. Thanks for having me on again.
Glad to have you back. We will also review the league table and take a look at your team as it stands, and then we'll go over your segment as well at the end.
Excellent, sounds good. I've got a little surprise for you, so hopefully test some of your knowledge as well.
Oh, everybody loves these ones, don't they? Jeez.
It's like our little sort of plan to stitch the host up.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not sure how I feel about this, but we'll see when we get there.
Yeah.
How do you think the cup final was this year?
I thought it was a great cup final. I thought when it's going down to the last actual game of the weekend,
Yeah.
I think you've always got a good cup final on there. And obviously, congratulations to Tom for joining the winners' enclosure and gaining his first trophy. Commiserations to Adam. I know that he'll have put a lot of effort into that, and it's a shame he didn't win, but it is ultimately the better team won on the day. So just congrats to Tom for winning his maiden trophy.
Yep, definitely. It was a well-fought final, I think. And like you say, coming down to the last game always makes it good.
Yeah, when Reguilon scored, I thought, Adam's going to sort of have a miracle on his hands here. I thought we were going to see the first miracle of the El Presidente take place, where he's going to score one and maybe score another, and then I think he would have overtook Tom, but unfortunately I think Conte subbed him off, and that kind of put an end to the matter, really. But Tom winning his first trophy is great. I guess he's got his unofficial trophy for being top 10 consecutive game weeks in a row, but this one is it's a physical trophy we can give to him at some point.
Yeah.
Congrats to him, and inspired on by Tobias. So good win for him. Good win.
Definitely. In terms of the rest of the league table, it was quite a high-scoring week again.
I think when you break it down, you have a look at it. I thought, probably like most of the managers, having a game score of 51 points, I thought I was probably going to climb the league. I thought in a normal game week, you'd take 51, but I'm just looking now. Max got 55, who's top. Adam's second with 53.
Yeah.
Team Row just below me with 57, and then you slowly creep into the 40s. But you had a good week as well. You got 53.
Yeah, I'm happy with this week.
Yeah, tip my hat to yourself there. And I think only a couple didn't break 40s. Couple just about. Well, I think George just broke 30s, and commiserations to Ben and Rich. Not the strongest game week, so we'll have to send an SOS out to Rich soon.
Yeah.
Slightly get adrift at the bottom. Which I feel bad. He's not even got a bad team. He's got quite a good team on paper, but it's just
it won't be long before Max is 200 points clear of him, and that is a dire position to be in, isn't it?
After game week, we're approaching game week 13. All I can give is my commiserations to Rich. So I think we're all praying that we see a change in fortunes.
He needs it, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, we're sending all our thoughts and prayers, and especially after the whole Ronaldo trade. He inherited an injured Lukaku who hasn't even played a minute yet. So, I don't know. I mean, he's got Cornet though. Cornet looks like he's an absolute points machine. He's just racking them up. So, to be fair to Cornet, in his last 4 games, he's got 15, 10, 1 and 7, which you will take all day. So, I think we're all hoping for Rich's sake that Cornet carries on and banging the goals in.
Definitely, yeah. I think like you say, on paper, the team has got the potential to do well. It's just not happening for him at the moment, is it? So.
No. And also a special shout out to Max for somehow having a strike force of Jesus, Dennis and Joel Linton. He got 23 points just from Dennis and Joel Linton alone, which is absolutely draft wizardry.
Yeah.
Huge tip of my cap to Max for some absolutely astute management there. I know he'd have planned and thought a lot about it.
When he's on the pod, I'm gonna have to get some information out of him as to where he's done this research.
I don't know how on earth nobody in their right mind would bring Joel Linton in at any point in the draft, because his goal record is just non-existent. And Max still thought he'd take a punt on him. I mean, there's still people like Jordan Ayew, Solomon Ronald, Martial, Pedro, Vidra, all just sat in the agency, and Max decides to pluck Joel Linton out of there, and he bags a goal. Unbelievable. Just can't even write it, really. So, yeah, I think we've got ourselves a potential strong candidate for the league, for possibly the league title, the way he's playing. So we'll have to see how he gets on long term.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move on swiftly to your team and do a bit of a...
Yeah.
Just take a look at what you've got at the moment. So, pretty good week, like you say. 51. It's a good week by any standard.
Yeah.
What do you think you're happy with at the moment? Obviously, you've got Salah, but minus him.
I think if you take out Salah, there's not a huge amount to be shouting about. I think Salah from Watford's been a really good signing for me. He gets points. He's probably Watford's biggest goal threat. I don't know if he'll still be on penalties now because he missed one at the weekend, but he still scored afterwards.
Yeah.
This is the first week where I've actually probably done pretty well defensively. So Gurhey from Crystal Palace scored. James Tarkowski got 2 assists, which I feel is mightily impressive. So he got 2 assists, and he still ended up with 8 points because he let in 3 goals. He also got booked and somehow didn't manage to get a 3-point bonus. So a little bit about that. But one thing I am delighted with is Lamptey this week. So Villa beat Brighton 2-0, but he came off on 78 minutes, so kept his clean sheet. So really happy with that. One thing that I'm not overly happy with, which is my fault, is I left Dan James there on my bench where I put Josh Sargent as my sort of second replacement, the guy who hardly ever starts and hasn't scored a goal or got an assist yet in 12 games. So I know he's just terrible. So
I think you're just showing us there, Will, that you are human after all, and not.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we all make mistakes. So, but obviously devastated. But I'm still kind of waiting because I think you probably will guess my game plan this year is invest in Liverpool players. They're the only team who's actually probably decent that I've really invested in. So I've obviously got Alisson, Salah, obviously, who has just been on another level this year and has literally carried my team.
Yeah.
But I've also got Robertson and Konate, so obviously nicknamed the Beatles, but they've only ever started, I think, all at once in one game week, and that was when they beat United at Old Trafford 5-0. And Salah got a hat-trick, got an assist, and then I ended up with a huge points haul. And that's what I've been planning for, but it's only happened once in 12 game weeks, so I'm not overly optimistic that's going to happen. But Jorginho was a nice little pickup. He's done well for me, and plus he usually starts and Chelsea rarely concede now. I guess my biggest disappointment is probably my front line, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Sargent I've touched on, but Danny Ings looks like he's probably going to come out of the team at Villa, I think. I don't think he'll be starting over the next few weeks, where obviously at Southampton he was just guaranteed points. And Callum Wilson's not really been among the goals as much as I would have thought. He did have an injury layoff, but he's only scored once in the last 4 games, so a little bit disappointing with that, but hoping the tide will turn and we'll see. But yeah, it's been quiet on the trade front for me, really. I've only done 1 trade this year with another manager. That was Lamptey for Cody, so a bit of a like for like, really. But yeah, we'll just see who comes out on top of that trade. But yeah, no, pretty happy with my team overall. Like I say, I'm within touching distance, so within 17 points of Max, which is a good position to be in at the start of the season. So
most definitely.
Yeah, pretty happy with the team at the moment because we know 17 points can just get eaten in 1 game week. So yeah, happy with it at the moment. So
what's your plan for when Salah is unavailable through the African Nations Cup?
It's something that I don't want to think about. What I'm kind of really secretly hoping in a morbid way is that COVID takes a horrible turn and they have to postpone it for another year. That, for me, is the only way that I can see that I've got any chance of being competitive at the end of the season. I think it'd be stupid to even considering trading Salah out. I'm sure I could get lots of players for him, but Salah, just for context, on 125 points. And then the second highest rated player after him is Trent Alexander-Arnold with 79. So to have a 46-point difference at this time of the season is an absolute joke.
Yeah.
So he's put himself in the untradeable category.
Yeah, most definitely.
One thing that I'm fully aware of, though, is that after Salah, there is a good number of players sort of after him until my next highest point scoring player, which is Salah with 53. I think it's got to be roughly 18, 19 players difference that other managers have got. So, yeah, I've literally pinned all my hopes on him continuing to do his stuff. So, hopefully, before he goes away, providing the AFCON Cup of Nations isn't cancelled, hopefully he can get me to 200 odd points.
Yeah.
Fingers away.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, in terms of a plan, I'm hoping the AFCON Cup of Nations is cancelled. That's it. That is my plan. Yeah. So if it works, I know I'll get accused of Morris luck, but it's something which I'm trying to.
Especially now you've said it here. If that happens, yeah.
I think there's a chance. So I've got to go with it. I've got to just hope. And obviously, I don't want there to be a huge COVID outbreak. But if it means that Salah is retained and gets to play another 5 or 6 games for me, it's something which I guess we'll have to consider.
Yeah. So, are you going to look at maybe trying to make some other trades which don't include Salah to try and strengthen your team, or do you feel everyone's just going to want Salah, so nobody and they're not going to be interested in trading anybody else or not?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult position to be in because Salah is obviously one player that everybody would want.
Yeah,
but is one that nobody's going to get. There is, I guess, potential in the long term that I look at someone like Robertson maybe coming out. However, that would drive a very, very high price, and I'm not sure that managers will be willing to pay that. I guess it all depends really, because like with Newcastle, Callum Wilson's still going to probably be their main striker, and there's just no idea what they're going to do in January in Newcastle. They could end up bringing in a whole new squad of players to feed Wilson. I'm pretty confident that he'll still be the main striker because he's their best player. So they won't look to replace him just yet. But it'll be interesting if they bring in sort of 3 or 4 really good creative players. It could mean that he starts scoring some more goals. And I was kind of hoping that Saka would do a little bit more this year. I mean, he's still quite a steady point scorer, but he's not been dominant in a way that I thought he might be. So he's got a couple of goals, but I was hoping really just to trade him at some point. But he's only got 1 goal this year and a handful of assists. So his trade price isn't particularly high at the moment. So. Yeah. Maybe I'll just, I think probably I've got a few decent players through the agency. So Gurhi, he's been getting points at the moment. He's playing a really good Crystal Palace side. So I picked him up for the agency. He's got clean sheet against Man City away, clean sheet against Wolves at home, and scored for the last 3 games. So potential to trade him out. However, I don't think managers will be seduced by his name. And maybe Jorginho, but again, people don't seem to be too attracted to Jorginho because he was at the agency. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. And time will tell, I think.
Fair enough. That's it. I haven't got any other questions for your team. Cool. So we'll move on and we'll crack on with your segment.
Cool. So my segment this week is going to be on football grounds. So what I'm going to do is I kind of stole this idea off Tolly because I really liked what he did last week. So I kind of stolen the format off him, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a series of clues, Luke. I'm going to test your knowledge and also the draft knowledge in terms of how well do we know our football grounds.
Yeah.
And this isn't just linked to the Premier League, by the way. So this is linked worldwide. So I'm going to be optimistic here and say that, of course, you'll smash them. But it's going to be a slight challenge with a few of them, okay? So let's give this a go. So I'm going to give you a series of clues and basically see if you can guess what the ground is, and you also get a bonus point for the team as well if you can name them as well. So first clue is the capacity for this ground is 54,000 and it's always sold out.
Right.
So do you want to stab in the dark? Obviously that's pretty vague because there's a lot of stadiums in the world which are kind of around that. But if you want to take a stab at, or even just a team, I'm happy to accept the team if you want to have a guess with that as well.
Is 54,000, so I'm not very good with Is it a good number? Is that a big number, or is that a
it's a pretty good number.
Average number.
So that would probably be in the top 5 grounds in the Premier League.
Right. Okay. So it's a big team.
It's big, yeah. So probably in the top 20%.
Okay. I'm not going to randomly guess because it could
No,
be
that's
anything.
fine. So I'll give you a few more clues. So next one, it was built between 1938 and 1940.
Okay.
It is named after a chocolate bonbon.
A bonbon.
Yeah, so that's what it's named after. I'll give you another clue. So what is it known for? It's known for its famous atmosphere. So this is a particularly loud ground. It's a pretty big ground. It is named after a biscuit in a chocolate bonbon, and it's a pretty old ground as well, so it's knocking on being around for just over 80 years. I've got 3 more clues, which I'll just run through, and obviously shout out if you want to jump in with a guess. This one is a particularly hard one I started off with, so this wasn't an easy one.
Right.
So the next clue is that the Backstreet Boys have performed here, which of course everyone will know about. Does that give you any clues?
No.
If it does, I'll be impressed.
I can't say I follow them.
Yeah. I think they played there like back in probably the 90s, so it's a bit of an old school one. Their current manager is a chap, I'm going to try to pronounce this, called Sebastian Battaglia.
Okay.
In terms of their famous alumni is Diego Maradona. So they are all the clues that I've given you for this one. Do you want to take a stab in the dark? If you want to guess a country, I can say whether you're hot or cold.
I'm going to guess a country of Spain.
You are old in terms of, so I'll class that as Europe. So Europe, it's not in Europe.
It's not in Europe. Oh, I haven't got a chance. It's not a chance.
Cool. So we'll go to the answer then, and we'll see if anyone in the draft managed to get it. But the stadium is called La Bombonera, after the bonbon.
Okay.
And this is Boca Juniors. So this, I'll give you a bit of context. This ground is really famous for the atmosphere it creates. If you ever go on YouTube and type in La Bombonera atmosphere, every time they play their local rivals, they empty the whole stadium. Well, the whole stadium basically turns to a ticker tape stadium. There'll be fireworks going off. It's like something you wouldn't believe. Wow. It looks unbelievable. So, and it was my favourite FIFA ground that I used to have my FIFA team on. So that's why it made a special mention into here.
Fair enough. So where actually is it?
It's in Argentina.
Oh, I was going to say. Right, okay.
So it'd be a really difficult one if you're not up to speed with your football grounds. This would be really challenging.
Well, obviously when it said Maradona, I was like, does that mean it's going to be Argentina? But then I was like, but did he actually play when he was in a team? Did he play somewhere in Europe or something? So that's where I went. Yeah,
so he played for Barcelona, which is Spain, and he also played for Napoli as well. So cool. But there's 5 of these to go through, so I'll move on to the next one. This one is a little bit more. This one is, well, easier, I'd say. So, first clue, the capacity is 32,609, and its only ever sellout was for an Oasis concert. These are facts, by the way, and obviously jump in. I know I've got some more clues to run through, but if you feel that you know it off that, feel free to jump in and have a guess.
Okay.
It was built in 2005, so it's a fairly modern stadium.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a stab in the dark at any of them yet, or do you want to see some more clues?
I'm going to go for some more clues, I think, first.
That's a problem. So it is named after a bank, so it's obviously really well known.
Question, is the name, has it always been that name, or has it changed?
It has changed. So that's a nice question to ask, and a nice probing going on there. So the name has changed. It has been known by other names. So yeah, good question to ask.
I think I know it, but keep going.
Cool. I'll give you another question. So what is it known for? It's pretty famous for sharing its ground with a rugby team. I was trying to find fun facts about this stadium, but it's very hard to find facts when the stadium's not all that.
Yeah.
So usually they've got a bit of history behind them. Usually they've got like I say, Backstreet Boys, for example, playing there. But the most interesting thing I could find about this stadium was that its stands are called North, East, South, and West. So really original.
Yeah.
Its current manager is a chap called Mark Robbins, and its famous alumni is Dion Dublin. Do you want to have a stab in the dark at this one?
No, I'm pretty confident that it's the Coventry Building Society Stadium.
And let's have a look. It is the Coventry Building
Society. I thought you were going to say its interesting fact was that the team doesn't play there, or didn't play there for so long.
It's good though. I didn't want to give it away too easily. Yeah. But it just made a return there, and that is a recent picture of their average attendance. So they've just been promoted back to the Championship, are doing really well, but unfortunately there's still quite a few empty seats, which is a shame.
Yeah.
So
it's a recent picture, and it still says Rico in it.
Yeah, it will still say Rico. I don't know if they took it off yet.
Oh, right.
But, so great shout. So that's 1 point to you then. So 1 out of 2 is pretty good going, by the way.
I'll take that, yeah.
So we'll move on to the next one. So again, we start off with the capacity. I think this is a important one to start off with. So the capacity is 42,749. It is always sold out, so there is never an empty seat to have. So it's obviously quite a popular.
Is that facts?
It's facts. It's facts. And
Will Morris facts.
No, these are facts. Everything in this presentation is factual. There are no lies or opinions which are thrown into this that could be biased, especially linking into the last one. As I mentioned, the only sellout was for an Oasis concert. It was built in 1897, so it's steeped in history, which is always nice to know. It's obviously classic old ground. It is named after the local area, so it's got some traditions, which is always nice. Nice to see, I think, in these days. So have you got any ideas, by the way, in terms of what you're thinking this might be?
I do.
Ooh, do you want to... I'll tell you what, let's run through. We don't want to ruin it for the other
let's keep going.
Yeah, we don't want to ruin it for the other people in the draft. So, what is it known for? It's known for holding numerous FA Cup semi-finals. The reason for this was because its location, it made itself very accessible, and also had a large capacity, and is a well-maintained stadium. The fun fact, which I managed to find out about this stadium and club, is that there's 21,000 fans on the season ticket waiting list. So,
wow.
Which is pretty impressive, which would nearly fill the CBS stadium, which we just covered before. Its current manager is Steven Gerrard, so pretty new in the press. And its famous alumni is one of Tolly's favourite players, Gabby Agbonlahor. Do you want to take a stab in the dark at this one, Luke?
I don't know what the name of the stadium is, but I'm pretty sure it's Aston Villa's stadium.
Let's have a look. It is Villa Park. There we go. And as we can see, a nice full stadium, which is something that we all appreciate here. So,
is that one of your photos? Can I ask?
No, it's not. So the one you can see on the right is the one where me and Adam usually sit. So we sit in the top tier of that one. Great shout. So you've got 2 out of 3, which is good.
I could just tell in the tone of your voice talking about this stadium. I was like, this is going to be Villa.
Yeah, it's a special stadium. It's a special stadium and had to be mentioned on the pod. Obviously, we've had the first stadium, which was La Bombonera, which is a world-famous stadium. And then we kind of lowered the tone with the CBS stadium, kind of brought things back down to ground level.
Yeah.
Villa Park Sports back up again. So really good position here to go and have a look. So this next one, I think, will be a challenge, but it's one which I'm excited to test you on. So its capacity is 67,000 and it's normally full. So it's this is a pretty large stadium when we talk about the first being in its 50s. This one's in 67, so a really big stadium. Next clue, it was built in 1935, and this one is actually named after the shape of the stadium. So if I want to give you some hints, think architecture for this one.
Right.
Next clue, it is known for its nuts fans. There's no other way I can describe it. Their fans are mental. So they are not cut from the cloth of normal fans. They're usually known for being pretty violent, actually. So a bit of a It's not a place you'd want to go as an away supporter. An interesting fact about this stadium is that they won the European Cup in the year of my birth, so 1992, in the year of yours. Mm-hmm. So, have you got any ideas at the moment? I know I've given you a few clues at the moment before we go on to the managers.
I wanted to take a stab at the country that it's in.
Ooh, go on then. Go for a stab.
But it's between two. And I don't know why it's the two, but
let's go for we'll give you the next two clues, and if you have a guess at the country, I'll tell you if you're warm or cold. So The current manager is George Sampaoli, and their famous alumni is Eric Cantona. Can you have a think in terms of what country you think this might be from?
That hasn't helped me at all, but I was between Italy and Germany.
Yeah, around the right ballpark. You're close, but you're not quite there. So if I give you some hints, do you know what Eric Cantona's nationality is?
I don't.
He likes a Kronenberg to drink. He will wear a beret on his head every now and then. Does that give you any stereotypes in terms of what nationality he might be?
Beret makes me think French.
There we go. That's exactly what we're after. So we're looking at a French stadium and a French...
PSG.
Great guess, but it is their arch rivals.
Oh, right, okay.
Which is called the Velodrome, as you can tell by the architecture of the stadium.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive, by the way, I'd like to add. I think the whole design thing, I felt that I need to get this in here.
Have you been?
No, I was in Marseille. When I went travelling, my whole idea was to go around football stadiums. So when I went, they were playing, I don't know, someone nuts, and the whole docks area was just full of nutcases. and so I thought, you know what, I probably won't bother going.
Oh, no.
So that's why I call their fans nuts, because they were just literally setting fire to things in the docks. So I thought, I'll just watch on telly. Yeah, I know, weird. So we move on to our final stadium, which is very exciting. So we've gone from original first one, the Bombonera, top stadium, lowered the tone a little bit with the CBS, then brought it back up with Villa Park, and again we took it to similar levels with the Velodrome, and we move on to our final one. So we'll run through the usual clues. So capacity is 32,363 for the stadium. It's normally full, so good support. It was built in 2001. Obviously, shout out if you have any ideas at all.
Okay.
It was named after the local church, so keeping that local theme which we liked about with the Villa Park one.
Yeah.
What's it known for? It is the largest stadium in South England outside of London. So, that kind of gives you a hint, I guess, that it's not a London club, but it's also quite a big stadium. Famous fact, this is more about the club than the stadium, but they actually won the FA Cup for the first time and the only time in 1976. Do we have any ideas yet about who it could be?
I do, yeah. I think it's St. Mary's.
Oh, didn't even get to the current manager. No, but let's go. The current manager is Ralph Hasenhüttl. The famous alumni is Manchester City, and there we go.
Yeah.
There's St. Mary's on the river. That's what we want to be seeing. Yeah, great stadium. Me and Adam went down there. Fans were particularly good that night after they scored in the second minute. And congratulations on nailing that one. 3 out of 5 is very respectable score, considering 2 of them weren't even in the UK. So
yeah, but I didn't get them to.
I think a pat on the back is deserved there. So great effort.
Ah, good. I like that. I'm warming to these quiz the host segments.
I think it's good to get. Yeah, so I did kind of nick the format of Tolly, so I thought it was really good what it did last week. So I thought I'd take it up and knock it into a stadium format. So yeah, brilliant work. Well done, mate.
Thank you. I like it. And now I'm going to get every week. Is going to be one of these now, probably.
It's going to keep on going now, isn't it? It'll be like guess the badge. This one is. It has red and white in it. What can that be?
No, it was good. I enjoyed that. Hopefully people listening along enjoyed it as well. Yeah, what was I going to say? That's totally gone from me.
It's all right. But yeah, no, just thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure as always.
Yep, thanks for coming on.
That's all right. Enjoyed my first appearance of the season. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I think you should be on again. I think I've worked it out. Everyone should get at least 2. I hope.
Yeah, we'll see. I might come back and maybe I will nick the club badge idea. I don't know yet.
Okay, yeah. Well, if you've been listening along and been playing along, let us know if you got 5 out of 5 in the comments below. And if you're not, please do subscribe and leave us a like. It does help us out a lot. And yeah, we'll catch you again next time in a couple of weeks. But yeah, thanks, Will. Thanks for coming back.
No problem. Thanks a lot.
And as always, this is the DraftCast. And remember, draft is life. See you next time.